Hey everyone, it's Keely here, and today I'm showing a layout and a process video for Scrap Academy. We're using a Scraplift by Niki Rowland, which I will link below, but you can find that on the Scrap Academy Facebook group as well. And our sponsor this month is Peartree Cutfiles. I'm going to be using a cut file from Peartree Cutfiles today, which is called the Christmas Polaroid frame. And right now I'm currently backing the cut file. There is holly leaves and a floral in the bottom corner as well. I'm going to be using coloured cardstock because this page is going to get quite busy, so I want the leaves and things to poke out and stand out as well. I draw around the cut file, and then cut out the pieces and then glue them on. I don't make you watch the whole process of me doing this. I just thought I'd keep a little bit in, so you can see how I back cut files, because I do tend to back the cut files that I use off camera, just to save a bit of boredom. But I know some people like to know how how other scrapbookers back their cut files. So I'll finish backing that off camera, and now I'm going to start creating my main page for this layout. And I'm going to first gut this piece of paper, because I'm going to use this as a border, but I'm also going to use this for my paper strips as well. And I also, when I was backing the cut file, I got the inspiration for the colours from this pattern paper, so that it coordinates and matches quite well. So yeah, so I'm not going to be wasting any of the middle of this piece of paper. I'm going to be using most of it on the other part of the layout. And now I'm just going to cut down my white cardstock so that I've got a border around, so you'll be able to see the pattern paper around. Now I do make a bit of a mistake in a moment once I start doing my strips. I do have to rectify it by more or less tearing the whole layout off the white cardstock, getting a fresh piece of white cardstock, and starting again. And the reason being is because the way I wanted to do it was I wanted my strips to match up, so that the pattern, you could still see the pattern of the paper, but it had, some gaps in between to mimic the strips on Niki's layout. And I cut my first strip completely wrong, and I placed it down completely wrong. And I noticed when I'd nearly finished putting the strips down and how it looked like it was kind of off to the left more than the right. But because I do end up peeling it all off, I managed to save all the strips. I didn't waste anything. It would just... sometimes when you're crafting, everything flows and the layout comes together quite simply. But for me this time, this layout, I got stressed. I must admit, at one point I was ready for throwing the whole thing in the bin and starting from scratch. But I didn't. I persevered and I kept working with it, and I really love how it turned out in the end. So I'm cutting down my strips here. I think these are about 1.5 centimetres strips. And I'm making sure that when I place them to the side, I'm keeping them in the correct order, so that, like now, on the background, the pattern all matches up. So this is where I make a mistake. I should have cut a little bit off each side, and I didn't. I cut it in half, more or less. And then when I came to place it down, I didn't place it to the right-hand side. I kind of scooted it a bit more over to the middle. But like I said, you'll see shortly that I managed to rectify it, and I'm much happier with how it looks in the end. I'm using my T-square ruler to place down the first strip, and then I'll use the first strip as a guide for the strips that follow after. But you'll be able to see a little bit here on how I'm kind of matching up the pattern so that it's still, the pattern's still visible going down the page. I do distress the edges of each of the strips. I like the texture that it adds to a layout. And I try and keep this going through some of, with the papers that I back my photo with and some of the embellishments as well. So I really enjoyed doing this part though. Once I'd got them in the correct position and things, placing them down was quite easy. It was like putting a jigsaw together. So yeah, so it does turn out quite well in the end. So this is now my completed layout. Well, not completed layout, but completed background. I've now got a slightly bigger border, but I'm much happier with the position of the strips. I don't feel like it's further over to one side than the other. It feels more central now. So I'm going to back my photo with some cardstock. With this page, I do take the inspiration for the colours from the pattern paper that I'm using. So everything's going to be, in the reds, the greens, the darker greens. There is a lot of pink in this collection because the kit that I'm using is the Scrap Squad event kit. We've got our 12 days of Christmas scrap lifts coming up next month. So I've already created the layouts for those, so I'm using like leftover supplies really, which I've still got plenty to work with, so that's brilliant. So now I'm placing down the frame. This is all back now in, like I said, in the matching colours to the pattern paper on the background. I do cover up quite a lot of my strips. I maybe should have gone slightly higher and slightly lower as well. But like I said, I'm quite happy with how it looks in the end, so I'm glad that I just went for how it was. And the photo that I'm going to be scrapbooking today is one of my dog Spud. Spud is like my third child, so whenever there's a celebration, Spud likes to get involved. In fact, whenever anything is going on in my house, Spud's always right there in the middle of it all, joining in with us. So this is a photo of him on Christmas Day last year. Every year Spud gets a gift at Christmas, usually some treats or, a new toy or something along those lines. And this photo is him ready to open his present. He loves opening Christmas presents. And he waits and he waits and he waits till he gets his present, which he rips the paper to pieces. He has more fun actually with the paper than he does with the present itself. But yeah, he'll rip the paper to pieces, and then we've got to watch him after he's opened his present, because then he thinks he can go under the tree and help himself to other people's gifts. So, so he's a funny old guy. He's now 9 years old, and it's been the same every year that he's been with us, and we've had him since he was a puppy. So I like to document my pets as well. They're so. They're a big part of our family, and like I said, they're always involved in the celebrations and things. And he's my big baby. He really is. He's such a lovely boy. So I've started pulling in some embellishments now. I've stuck the word merry at the top, which in Niki's original layout she had the word merry at the top as well, but it just fit there in that spot perfectly. So I had to use that. I love how you can see the cut file popping out behind the photo. You can see all the leaves and the colour, which I will link Peartree Cutfiles, down below. So if you'd like to get your hands on some of Marie's cut files, they really are beautiful cut files. I've got a couple in my collection already, and I definitely will be purchasing more cut files from Marie in the future. I've fussy cut some little gifts, a little bird and some holly leaves. These are from the sticker book, which was an add-on to the kit, and I've attached those down to onto some white cardstock and then fussy cut them out just so that they're more like a die cut and I can pop them up and move them around. I've also brought in the number 25, which is going to act as my title. I've heat embossed the number 25, which for those that will be watching my Christmas layouts coming up for Scrap Squad, you'll see that I've been on a bit of a heat embossing kick lately. And I've also brought in some stars from Bramble Fox as well. These are from my own stash, and the stars are in gold. So I'm just attaching down these little bits and pieces that I've cut out. I'm going to pop a few things up on form, stick a few things flat, just to create different levels throughout the page. And again, they all match the colours that are in the pattern paper strips on the background. I love the little bear that I've added to the side of the photo. Again, he's in matching colours too. I'm having another look now through the sticker book. These sticker books go on forever. I mean, I've used absolutely loads from these books as well. But there's always something new to find. I brought in some of the washi strips that are in the sticker book, and these are in the red, and I felt like there's quite a lot of green going on in the page, so I just wanted to bring in some more red throughout the page. So I add these to the strips, the paper strips on the background, and I'm trying to spread those out around the page. And now I'm just finding some little bits. I'm just finding some little star stickers, so I add those onto the background. I think I find some little floral stickers which are in the red as well. So it's just little bits to add a few more details and a bit more interest. And my stars aren't stuck down yet. I don't think I make you watch me stick down the stars because I haven't taken the backing off, and I know that can get quite boring, so they're not stuck down yet. I'm just going to stick down my number 25. I think I'm having a few issues with my glue there. I think it's running out. I mean, the glue that I use is the Tombow Mono Multi Liquid Glue, and it's the one with the green lid. I never used to like this glue before, but I really love it now. And I'm going to finish off now with some gold splatters. And yeah, I've really enjoyed the layout, and I love now how it's turned out, even though I did have a few battles with my paper strips in the middle. So please do join us on the Facebook group, and do check out Peartree Cutfiles, which will be linked below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.